Hi, I'm Grace Robleski, and I'm in Dr. Brown's Honors Education, Human Development, and Learning class. For our project, I chose the topic of behavior charts. I remember that Dr. Brown had talked about them briefly in class, and it piqued my interest. So I thought back to when I was in school, and I could remember the use of behavior charts in the classrooms that I were in, and I also remember the feeling that I would get when they were being used in the classroom. So I had a lot of anxiety surrounding the behavior charts, and I just disliked them in general, and I wanted to see if there was any evidence to support the use of them in the classroom. And my research proved that they were not effective in the classroom. There were many reasons that my articles gave me, but I narrowed them down to about 5. The first reason that the use of behavior management charts in the classroom is not good is the public shaming aspect of them. It is a spectacle to the rest of the classroom and the teacher when a student has to go and change their status on the behavior chart, whether that be flip their card or move their clip. There are many different ways that behavior charts are used in the classroom. Students can feel shamed when they're doing this because they are having to go in front of all of their peers and change their status, and it's normally looked upon negatively to have to change your status, and this can instill anxiety and fear in students surrounding the topic. Another reason why behavior charts are not good to be used in the classroom is the public factor of the charts. When you walk into classrooms with behavior charts, they're normally up on the wall or in a central location in the room where it's seen at all times. This makes it, again, a very public thing for the students to have to go change their status. Another reason why behavior charts are not good to be used in the classroom is they focus more on extrinsic motivation instead of intrinsic motivation. Extrinsic motivation is motivation from an outside source. So you're taking children and you're saying you should behave this way so you can receive this or so this doesn't happen. Instead of the opposite of intrinsic motivation, which is motivating students from within and saying you should want to do this for yourself and not be receiving any reward. The reward should be coming within the child. Another reason to stop the use of behavior charts in classrooms is they can ruin student and teacher relationships. If a teacher has to keep reprimanding a child by making them change their status and children are shown to not like that, they can grow to dislike teachers, and in severe cases they can grow to just dislike education as a whole, and this can ruin the development of children. The final topic that I chose was that behavior charts do not allow teachers to focus on why the behavior is bad. When trying to modify behavior, teachers should be able to take a student and say, this is the behavior that you did wrong, and this is why it's wrong, and this is how you fix it. Behavior charts do not do that. Behavior charts just say, you're misbehaving, go change your status. The child does not know what they did wrong, they just know that they did something wrong and had to change their chart. The solution I found to all these problems is to stop using behavior charts in the classroom. There are many other alternatives to use besides behavior charts. Punishments and reprimanding children does not stop just because the use of behavior charts stops. Teachers will still be able to have control of classrooms without the use of behavior charts. Just because behavior charts are one of the easiest ways to control a classroom for teachers does not mean it's the best way to modify behavior for the students. One alternative I found was that private conversations between students and teachers are more beneficial. Private conversations still allow children to be able to keep their dignity and not be shamed in front of all of their peers, and building stronger relationships between the student and the teacher. Private conversations allow the student to be able to identify what they did wrong and come up with solutions to stop the behavior from continuing again. This kind of helps with eliminating the issue that behavior charts have with the kids that have a lot of issues and have to change their chart status a lot in the beginning of the year, usually have problems throughout the entirety of the year. This doesn't necessarily mean because they're bad kids. It is because they are unable to identify the behavior that they're doing wrong themselves. If they were to be able to have a conversation with their teacher and identify the behavior and come up with a solution, behavior will change. Another alternative I found was the focusing on intrinsic motivation instead of extrinsic motivation. Taking away any outside motivators and incentives from the students will force them to be able to come up with solutions of their own and come up with solutions for themselves instead of, oh, I want to do this because I want a reward. Intrinsic motivation has been shown to encourage students to further their education and further development, and to motivate themselves, and it kind of turns into a cycle of, oh, I want to do this, I'm going to set this goal, I completed this goal, so I set a new one, instead of just, oh, I want this, I want to receive this reward, so I'm going to do this, I get the reward, it's done. And one interesting fact I found about behavior charts when I was doing my research was they were first used in the medical field, not the education field. And that's all.